Okay. Very good. Very good morning to one and all. So good morning to all of you. So in the previous lecture, we are learned about the measurement of frequency by using CRO. So different three methods are used for measurement of frequency and also the measurement of phase difference of between two frequency signals by using Lissajous method, spot wheel method, and the gear wheel method. By using these three methods, we are going to measure the frequency of unknown signal. The signals whose frequencies to be measured, we have to compare with the some known frequency signals. So with that, we can get some patterns on the screen of the screen of the CRT, and from that we will measure the number of cycles or the number of tangencies with the line with the horizontal and vertical. Okay, and in some cases we can get the spot wheel, and depending upon the number of bright lines on the screen of CRT, we can measure the frequency. That is for spot wheel method. So whereas in toothed wheel method, so the frequencies are generated as a wheel, wheel tooth. Okay, the tooth of the wheel, the teeth of the wheel. So from that we can, by counting that number of teeth of the obtained circle, so we can find the frequency, and also we can measure the phase phase difference, phase shift of the signals between two signals. Okay, so like that we can observe or we can determine the unknown frequency signal. Okay, and the next one is that, so the different probes of the CRO. So to measure the unknown signal voltage or frequency, first of all we have to connect this CRO to the point of measurement. So for that we have to use the probes. So for that probes, we can use the shielded wires and also two wires. So with respect to the reference value, we have to measure the unknown signal. So for that we have to use the two wires. When these two wires are combined and the voltage, the currents are flowing through this, so it will be acts as a two wires are conducting. So and side by side these are placed when the two wires are conducting. Okay, conducting wires are placed side by side, and it will be acts as a capacitor. So capacitor is nothing but two electrodes are separated by some dielectric medium. So similarly, the same type of the capacitance effect will be occurs by using these probes. So probes are is connected between the CRO and the point of measurement. Suppose in the PCB, we have to measure the voltage drop between two voltage drop across a component, or the we have to measure the frequency response, frequency signal output of a system. So for measuring of that, we have to connect these probe connections to the with respect to some ground or some with respect to another terminal. Suppose it is DC voltage, we can measure the with respect to positive and negative. Okay, so like that, if it is an AC with respect to some ground, we can, or neutral, phase neutral. So like that we can connect the cable with the 2 points. So for that we have to use two wires inside this cable. So while using two wires or cables, so that leads to that becomes as two wires are placed side by side, that causes the capacitance effect of that cable will be also comes into picture. So we don't suppose the length of the cable is some very high, then the effect of the capacitance is very high. If the length of the cable or wire is long, so that leads to the capacitance effect is very high. Okay, so like that we can also some capacitance, that is called as stray capacitance effect. So that is called as stray capacitance. Okay, and in some cases, while measuring the low voltages, some high voltage uh, hum signals will be comes. High voltage hum signal also comes or mixes with the high voltage frequency signals, are also mixes with the low frequency signals, low voltage frequency signals. Okay, so in such situation, the unknown signal or the signal which is to be measured is get uh, get I mean you cannot measure the unknown signal because this signal is mixed with the high frequency hum signals, like our AC signal. AC 50 hertz signal is there. So while measuring some device voltage, suppose we have to measure the ECG waveform. So while using this ECG waveform, some AC signals also involves the frequency of the AC signal also mixing with the ECG waveform. So ECG output. Okay. So this ECG output is also having noise. Here the 50 hertz or 60 hertz signal is nothing but the noise, so which also interface with the actual signal. So okay. So uh, due to that, the actual measuring signal does not able to produce the proper output. So to avoid such situations, we have to provide certain compensations. We have to provide some compensation. So with that, only the that particular the measuring signals should be allowed, and the high frequency signals which are mixed with the determining signal should be stopped. Okay, so like that we have certain probes are there. So these are the different types of the probes. So generally direct probe, so it is called as one by one or 1:1, and second one is the passive voltage probe, or we can call it as a low capacitance probe, low capacitance probe, or 10 by 1 probe. So we can call uh, passive voltage, that is a high impedance probe, or it is low capacitance probe, or it is 10 by 1 probe. The first one is direct probe is 1:1, 1:1. This is the 10:1, and the next one is the active probes. So whereas in active probes we use the active devices. So active devices are diodes, FETs, and BJTs. Whereas in passive voltages we can use the passive devices. So generally passive devices are resistor, capacitor, and inductor. So in this case we will use the resistor and capacitors in the passive probe, passive voltage probe. And in the direct probes we can use only the resistor, so that we will see in the coming slides. So what is so the first one is direct probe. So the simplest type of probe, and is hardly just called as probe, so is the test lead. Okay, so test leads are simply convenient lengths of wire for connecting the CRO input to the point of observation. So where we have to measure the voltage or frequency so to that connecting point to the CRO. So that probe is test leads, CRO probe, or we can call it as a test leads. Okay, and they have different lengths also there. Okay, one end of the we'll connect the probe one end to the CRO, and another end is connected to the point of observation. So one end is terminated with lugs, banana tips, and other tips to fit the input jackets of the scope. Okay, so for inserting different types of the lugs are banana tips. Okay, so these different types will be there, and those with those that we will connect the CRO, and the other end of the this test leads. So we have a crocodile clip or any other convenient means for connection to the electronic circuit. So generally we have a crocodile clips. Okay, in some cases we can also connect a testing lead, just pin type of the leads. Okay, those should be connected to the point of measurement where we have to measure. So generally the CRO has high input impedance and high sensitivity. So most of the cases the CROs are having high input impedance and high sensitivity. But these test leads is shielded to avoid hum pickup. So here we said that hum pickup. So that means for the low voltage signals, the high frequency signals will be mixes. So that according to that, it will be disturb the signals. So that we can call it as a hum pickup. So those should be avoided. Okay, to avoid such pickup signals or unwanted signals, we have to make this test leads should be shielded. Okay, shielded unless the scope is connected to low impedance high level circuits. If it is not shielded, uh, the scope is connected to low impedance high level circuits. Okay, although the input impedance of most CROs are relatively very high compared to circuits where they are connected, it is often desirable to increase their impedance to avoid loading of circuits or causing unstable effects. So the CROs are relatively high, having high input impedance. So in some cases, when we connect it to the circuits, so it may be cause some loading effects. So to avoid such things also, we have to use this some cables, which is often desirable to increase their impedance to avoid loading effects. So CRO inputs are already having high input impedance. So in some cases, that high input impedance is also not sufficient to drive the some devices. So in such situations, we have to increase the more input impedance. Okay. So for that, we can use these different techniques of that is methods. Okay, and the input capacitance of the scope plus the stray capacitance of the test leads. So already uh, due to the different components present in the CRO, so already it possesses some capacitance. In addition to that, there is a stray capacitance of the test leads. So what I was explained previously. So when two wires are placed side by side, and suppose they are conducting nature, and these two wires are in conducting nature, and due to that, these two will be formed as a capacitor. So capacitor is having a two electrodes, and these are conducting electrodes, and these two conducting electrodes are separated by dielectric medium. So that is the capacitor construction. Similar construction we will have when two wires are placed side by side, and these two wires will be acts as electrodes, and the medium between these two electrodes nothing but the air. So that air will be acts as an dielectric material. So when two electrodes or two wires are placed side by side and the air will be acts as an dielectric medium, this will be formed as a capacitance. So that particular capacitance type of the capacitance we can call it as a stray capacitance. Stray capacitance. Okay. So already due to the different components present in the CRO, it will possess some capacitance plus due to these test leads, we will get some stray capacitance. So these two capacitances will be affect the CRO. So the sensitivity of the CRO will be changes with this. Okay. So those capacitances effect of this capacitance, stray capacitance should be reduces to be reduced. So we have to decrease this effect of the stray capacitance. Okay, this effect can be prevented by an isolation probe. So how we can reduce this stray capacitance is nothing but by so that one is can called as isolation probe. So isolation probe is made up by placing a carbon resistor in series with the test lead. So that stray capacitance and capacitance effects are decreased or reduced by or prevented by using a shielded core. So shielded core and a carbon resistance. So a carbon resistor is connected in series with the shielded core. Okay, like this we can get the isolation probe. So this one, the combination of the carbon resistance and the shielded core, we will call it as a isolation probe. And this is the CRO input. So from here we will connect the CRO input, and this side we will connect the where we have to measure the frequency or the voltage. That particular point of observation is connected at this point. Okay, and by using with this isolation probe connection, so there is some reduction of the amplitude and a small slight change in the shape of the waveform. Okay, so by connecting like this carbon resistance and a shielded core, due to this isolation probe connections or this construction, the applied input signal amplitude somewhat decreases, slightly reduces, and there is a slight change in the wave of the shape. So the input waveform shape slightly changes. Okay. So to avoid this possibility, a high impedance compensated probe called a low capacitance probe or a 10/1 probe is used to reduce this reduction of the amplitude and the change of the waveform shape. So we can go for the low capacitance probe or a 10/1 probe. We can call this 10/1 probe, and by that it will be provides a high impedance compensation. It provides high impedance compensation. Okay, so by that we can the main purpose is so if the CRO should be provide high input impedance for the common mode signals. Okay, so if there is any other than this high voltage signals are there, so that will be effects on the CRO. So our system should be withstand that high input impedance circuits also. Okay, that is main thing. So we have to provide high input impedance. By using that cable, it should provide high input impedance, and by that it able to drive the signal properly without any loading effect. Okay. So coming to the second one, that is passive voltage or high impedance probe, high impedance or the low capacitance or 10/1 probe. So this is the construction of this probe. Okay, so here this is the input. This figure shows the how we can obtain the high voltage probe. Okay. Okay, this is the input. Here we will apply the input. Here we will apply the input here. So, and this input is connected through a parallel combination of 9 mega ohms resistor R1 and adjustable capacitor C1. Okay, and this is a point of X1 and this is a point of Y, X, Y, and in between we will connect a 1 mega ohm resistance R in, and this is the capacitance C2. Okay, and this is the C in, so 20 picofarads is connection. Okay, and this is the input impedance from here to CRO input impedance. Okay, and this is the output is connected to the CRO. So this will be like a bridge. So this will be forms this the representation of this probe is formed as a bridge. So a bridge here. See here, this is the input. Input is connected to 9 mega ohms resistance R1 and adjustable capacitor C1. These two are in parallel. These two are in parallel, and this is the point of measurement X and Y. So here these two are connected. Okay, this is the point X. Okay, X, and from this X we have to connect a resistance R in with respect to ground, and the another one is connected to C in plus C2. Here the capacitors are connected in C in and C2. Combination of these two. So because here the two capacitors are in parallel, the net effect of the capacitance is adding of these two capacitors, C in plus C2. Okay, and these two capacitors are connected to Y. Okay, and here the X and Y are combined, and it is connected to the vertical amplifier. So it is connected to CRO vertical amplifier. So from this side we will apply the input, and from this side we will connect it to the vertical amplifier. Okay, and from that vertical amplifier it will send to the vertical deflection plates. So here how this will provides a high input impedance, and the low capacitance. So that we will see. So, and this is called as a 10/1 probe, or passive voltage probe, or high impedance probe, or low capacitance probe. So it provides high input impedance, low capacitance. Okay. So we said that these probe connections are these elements are connected as a form of the bridge. So under conditions of the balance. So when the balance is conditioning, and it means the balance is conditioned. Sorry, the bridge circuit is balanced under the condition of bridge balancing conditions. So what happens? The output is equals to 0. So when the bridge is balanced, we can say that the output is equals the voltage between the two terminals is 0. Okay, so when this balance is occurs, so we will get this equation, that is R1 and C1 is equals to R in into C2 plus C in. Okay, so from this we have to find out the C2 value. So we have to find out the C2 value. So already R1 we know, and R in we know, C in and C1, all this we know. Okay, and from that we have to adjust the C1. So we have to find the C1, not C2. We have to adjust the C1. So in such a way that it should be produce the low capacitance value. So the overall capacitance of this particular probe or connections should be produce low capacitance value. So due to the capacitance of the probe increases, so it will also produces some frequency effects. To reduce those frequency effects, okay, so to reduce those frequency effects, we have to reduce the inbuilt capacitance which is present in the leads. Okay, so that inbuilt capacitance values should be reduced. Okay, so to reduce that, we have to connecting some external components, external resistance and capacitance values. Okay, by connecting in this way and adjusting the C1 value, that is the adjustable capacitor C1, we can adjust, and by that we can get the net capacitance value should be low, and the resistance value should be high. By producing resistance value should be high, leads to high input impedance. Okay, so what is the advantage is nothing but if there is any common mode signals are there, those common mode signals should be rejected. So CMRR ratio should be reduces. Common mode rejection ratio should be high. Okay, so common mode signals should be eliminated. Okay, and that should be high, that ratio should be high, but the common mode signals should be reduced. Because of that, we can have used to high input impedance, and capacitance effect should be reduced. Okay, so this is the representation of the this high impedance probe. Okay, so in this we are connected, we are using a 1 mega ohm resistance R in and 20 picofarads. So this is the CRO input impedance. So this we cannot change, and only the effect is we can adjust is the adjustable capacitance. So C1, and this R is also we are connected. So R1 is connected in parallel with the C1. So by changing this C1 value, so there is a we can reduce the capacitance value. So under bridge balance condition, first we have to know what is the value of the overall capacitance of the C1. So that we will see. So by using this bridge balance condition, so we have to find the C1 value. So when X and Y are equipotential and the effect of the probe is equivalent to placing a potential divider consisting of R1 and Rn across the input capacitance. So here, so these are when the X and Y are equipotential. It means equipotential means these two terminals are equal. So in such situation, the voltage drop across this R in is equals to the voltage drop across R in with respect to, we are measuring with respect to ground. So that's why the voltage drop across R in is equals to the total voltage V in and R in by R in plus R1. The total input voltage V in is the input voltage, and the voltage drop across R in, V in into R in by R1 plus R in. Okay, so total resistance. Okay. So like that we will get the total resistance value across these two terminals X and Y when the bridge is balanced condition. So here by placing potential divider consisting of R1 and Rin across the input circuit. So the attenuation of the signal is 10:1. The attenuation of the signal is 10:1. So that is here why they are saying that 10:1. 10:1, why they are saying is, so here R1 is 9 mega ohms. R1 is 9 mega ohms. So I will explain to you here. So here R1 is 1 mega ohm and Rin is sorry. So R1 is 9 mega ohms. R1 is 9 mega ohms. Rin is 1 mega ohm. Okay. So that is the voltage across this X is obtained as Rin, that is Rin by Rin plus R1. Okay, so R1 plus R. So this is the voltage Rin. So Rin is the value is 1 by total resistance is 10 mega ohms. 1 mega ohm by 10 mega ohm, because V in into 1 mega ohm by total resistance R1 by Rin. So that becomes as 1 by 10. So that is equals to V out. Here the voltage drop across X terminal with respect to ground is V out. So V out is equals to 10 mega. Well, this will cancel, and this is the V in into 1 by Vm. So V in into 1 is equals to, that is 10 V naught into 10 V naught into 10 into V naught. Okay. So this is the 1 time and this is the 10 time. So we will get 10 by 1 probe. So input is 1 and output is 10. So you are getting this one. So input is 1 time, is multiplied with 1 time, is equals to output of this one is multiplied with 10 times. Okay. So output is obtained as V in by 10. So that is equals to V naught is equals to 0.1 into Vi. V in. V naught is equals to 0.1 into Vi. Okay, here our output V naught is equals to 0.1 into Vi. So some part of the voltage is considered as the output. So 0.1 into Vi. So will be considered as an output. So that's why this probe is considered as the 10/1 probe or 10:1 probe. Okay, so you got this one. Okay. So V naught is equals to 0.1 into Vi, fraction of 0.1 into Vi. So 0.1 is nothing but 1/10. So here the attenuation of the signal is 10:1. So attenuation of the signal is 10:1. That is R1 into R1 by R1 is equals to 10:1. So over a wide frequency range, and it is called as compensated 10/1 probe. So this one is called as 10/1 probe. Okay. So as far as DC voltage inputs are concerned, input voltages are concerned, the coaxial capacitance equals to 30 picofarads per foot. Okay, so suppose we are applied a DC input voltage, okay, and the coaxial cable. So here we are using a cable is a coaxial. So I think you may know that coaxial meaning. Okay, so that is assuming that the coaxial length of 3.5 feet, the total coaxial length is length capacitance is 105 picofarads for one single feet. It is having 30 picofarads. For the total length of 3.5 feet of distance of the coaxial cable, so it is offers a capacitance of 105 picofarads. And substituting these values in this equation, balancing equation, we will get the C value is 13.88 picofarads. 13.88 picofarads. So that is the balancing condition. So when we apply some voltages voltages, so we can produce the different values of capacitance values, and those frequency those input capacitance values may be in the range of 15 to 50 picofarads, and according to that we can adjust the C1 value 13 to 47 picofarads. 13 to 47 picofarads. In between range we can adjust the input capacitance C1 value. So it must be adjusted to obtain optimum frequency response from the probe CRO combination. So to get the optimum frequency response, we can adjust the C1. Okay. So when the CRT display has optimum response, C1 value is deemed to be appropriate, and V out is equals to 0.1 into Vi, and that is equals to Vin into Rn by R1 plus R2. So the next one is active probes. So in active probes are designed to provide an efficient method of coupling high frequency fast rise time signals to the CRO input. Okay, and these are used to provide an efficient method of coupling high frequency and fast rise time signals. So usually the active probes are very high input impedance with low attenuation. Okay, when compared to passive probes, these are offers high input impedance and low attenuation, less attenuation. So that is one of the disadvantages, less attenuation. So active devices, you know, the diodes, FETs and BJTs, etc. And active probes are more expensive and bulky than passive. So generally, by using the FETs, the cost of construction will be increases, and due to that expensive and the the bulky nature. So more number of more space will be occupied. Okay, and but they are useful for small signal measurements because their attenuation is less. So, but they are useful for small signal measurements due to attenuation is small. So, active probes using FETs. So, here we are using a FET, active probe. So, here by using the, so this is nothing but FET follower. Okay, so here because to provide the high input impedance, so because to provide the high input impedance, we can FET will be used as a follower. Means okay. So here, so we can also use a BZT, and output will be connected to the oscilloscope, and here we'll apply the input. So FET is used as an active element to amplify the. Although the voltage gain of FET follower circuit shown is unity, and follower circuit provides a power gain so that the input impedance can be increased. Input impedance will be increases, and it is effective, and the FET must be mounted directly in the voltage probe tip. So to get the more effective, we have to construct the FET this construction in the probe only. There is no separate cables. So this FET is inbuilt in the cables, and due to that the capacitance of the interconnected cables will be eliminated. And the operation of the FET is requires power supply. So and that power supply is supplied by the CRO only, oscilloscope. From the oscilloscope, the power supply is connected to the FET, and this FET is connected at the tip of the probe. The voltage follower drives a coaxial cable, but instead of a cable connecting directly to the high input impedance of the oscilloscope, it terminated in its characteristic impedance, and there is no signal attenuation between the FET amplifier and the probe tip. And the range of the signals that can be handled by the FET probe is limited to the dynamic range of the FET amplifier and is typically less than a few volts. To handle a large dynamic range, external attenuators are added to the probe tip. Active probes have limited use because of the FET probe effectively becomes an FET attenuator. Okay. Therefore, oscilloscopes are typically used with 10:1 attenuator probe. So, dynamic range of these FETs are very large. To handle large dynamic range, so we go for the attenuators. Okay, and in cases we can go for the 10:1 attenuator probe is uses because have limited use. So these active probes have the limited uses. So in such situation, we go for the 10:1 probe.